everyone, welcome to another parts tutorial video. Today we are focusing on ruler number 43, Circle My Heart. So I'm just pointing out there the centre. This point here will be the centre of the pattern and the pattern will work round it. So just bear this in mind when you are placing the ruler on the material, that you've got enough space so it's where you want it to go by just using that as a reference point. So what we're going to do is going to find where we want it on the material. Start with the foot down, put the needle down and sew the whole length of this channel that we've got on this ruler. So we just need to make sure that when we get to the end of each section, we are snuggling up right to the end, just so our pattern will match up nicely. Okay, so we've stopped with the needle down there and we are now going to move the ruler. So we're going to slide the ruler all the way back to the beginning point and we are going to start using the scroll lines. So as we go through this, as we've got more and more sewing and stitching, you'll be able to see a bit more clearer the scroll lines. But what I'm doing is I'm lining, there's two sections to line up. There's the half the heart section and then there's the big sweeping length of the channel. So we're going to match those up before we move on to the next section. And then we're going to sew the whole length of the channel again. Okay, so when we get to the end, same as always, we will stop with our needle down. Okay, and then we will slide the ruler back to the beginning position. Okay, and then we are going to line up what we have just sewn with the scroll lines. Okay, and you can just see here that in the middle of the channel is the little pink stitching that I did before. So you can see the scroll line there that's continued round either side of that stitching. That is one of the scroll lines that we use when we are matching up this pattern. Okay, so again, we've just done the whole length of the channel, which is how we achieve this pattern. We keep going from length to length. So if you think about it, each time you are moving the ruler to line it up, you are basically completing the heart. So that's where you're putting your scroll line on the other section of the heart and you're completing the heart. But instead of stopping at the bottom, you are continuing that sweeping line. So that will help you when you're lining everything up, that each time you are putting your scroll line underneath half the heart that you completed last time, and then the channel where you're going to sew will complete the heart shape. So just spinning the material around so that you can see here. So I've just got half the heart section and the sweeping line continues round. Again, you can just see a little bit of the pink stitching in the middle. That's again a bit just to help you line it up, that you're using the correct scroll lines. Okay, so this pattern it is quite easy to make, and also it will cover a decent amount of area on your quilt. It will just give it that nice centerpiece pattern that you want. And if you're doing obviously really large scale quilt, you could use this as a really chunky border all the way around. Okay, so we're just going to keep matching up our scroll lines. There you go, you can see there where we put the half a heart that we've already done on the previous section, and just lining it up and going all the way around. So just take your time and give that extra few seconds just to make sure everything is lined up properly, and it will make a big difference to the overall result of this shape. Okay, so I'm just going to finish off the last few little sections, and when you do the last section of this, you've also got the advantage that you will have where you started with your stitching to use as a matching up scroll line, so it will complete the pattern nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to again go right back to the beginning. Okay, and then you just need to complete the section. And then once it's completed, we'll take it off and you'll get to see the full effect of this pattern. And it's actually quite a fun one to do because it's quite repetitive and rhythmic, but it makes such a lovely pattern on your material. You can experiment with different coloured threads as well, which can also make a big difference. Okay, so I'm just lining up this last little section now. So again, you may need to just do a few tiny adjustments just to match up what you are doing now to your first line of stitching for the pattern. Okay, so I'm going to take that off, and there you go. Circle My Heart ruler. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, we're still using the same ruler. I'm just showing how you can use this ruler just to do a little decorative bits with it. If you've got a corner free in your quilt and you just want to add a little bit of something to it, you can use this ruler. If you don't want to do the whole circle my heart shape, you can just use a section of it, and it can just, especially if you've got a small project and you just want to, like I said, put something in the corners just to give it that bit of embellishment, this ruler is perfect for that. So what I've done is I've just done 2 sections. So basically, when it's finished, it'll be like a completed heart, but then it will have a flick each side, just to give it that extra little bit of something. So just finishing up here now, and I will take this ruler off and you can have a look at it. There we go. So that like it's just got a small space to fill. It's perfect for that. So the final design that I'm going to show you with this ruler is, we're not using the end sections of the curve, we're just using the long stretch. We're going from one side to another, then turning the ruler around and just going straight back. So what will happen with this is it will make some really long wavy lines. So it's just another thing that you can do with this ruler, and it's very easy, very quick if you want to cover this. So it's just experimenting with these rulers, making patterns out of the shapes that you've got in the channels. So these are just a few of my ideas. Obviously, feel free to play with the rulers, make your own designs, and it does mean that your quilt can be unique if you're making up your own original designs. Okay, so what I'm doing is, to get these lines, I'm just using the scroll line here for a reference point. So my foot is just where the scroll line is, and I'm going to sew all the way until the scroll line there, just before it goes around the curve. So it's just giving me that consistency, that each line that I'm doing, sweeping line, is going to be the same size. So it just gives that bit of consistency to the pattern. Okay, so I'm just going to do a few of these lines just to show you what you can achieve with this ruler, and then you can go on ahead and adapt it as you wish. Just to show that these rulers, that can, even though it's got one main pattern that's achievable with them, you can do lots of different things just by using your imagination and experimenting and playing. So this is just going to be the last line, just to give you an idea of what we can do with this ruler. So I've just got one more section to do, and then I will show you the finished result. Okay, so like I said, nice and quick and easy for a big effect. Okay, so that is ruler 43, Circle My Heart. Enjoy!